Hey peeps, how you doing? Welcome. Hope you're having a nice weekend. Hello Ibsen, hey Nadine, hey Lindsay, hey Swifty, how you doing? I am Brazilian. Hola. I guess we say hola. Do we say hola? I guess that's right. Portuguese, isn't it? People in Brazil speak Portuguese. I never remember. I always get the South American languages mixed up. It's like a version of Portuguese or version of Spanish, isn't it? Something like that. Welcome. How is everyone doing? How's your weekend going, peeps? Yeah, I'm all right, Swifty. I'm getting a bit tired. Lots of packing. I've got lots of packing going on. So for those of you who don't know, I'm moving on Friday next week, so I'm packing up my whole house, and I'm moving from like a 4-bed house into a 2-bed flat, which is it's a bit of a challenge. So lots of packing, lots of condensing, lots of stressing over how I'm going to get everything in, lots of like looking at stuff going, do I really need this anymore? Just noticed this random bit sticking out. Why is that sticking out? How come that's sticking out there? That's weird. Did I do that? Potentially I did. So yeah, but I'm getting there. I'm definitely getting there. The boxes are slowly... The box fort is slowly growing. It grows larger and larger every day. So we are working on... I'm in a little bit of a groove with this one at the moment. I just fancied working on this again. I've got... Well, yeah. I mean, I've got loads of... As ever, I've got like a million plates spinning in this game. So we've got... The community zoo is obviously the one we're working on tonight. I've got Zimba. I'm not working on Zimba right at this second. I've got loads of Tigridoo stuff going on still. Tigridoo is still chugging along. I'm hoping next next Saturday, I'll have a video to share on Tigridoo. Pretty big. It might be a long video. I might even end up making 2 parts of this same video, because basically I've done this whole great big kind of backstage area, loading dock, storage area, like back access into the zoo, quarantine, vet, loads of which is all custom, and it's pretty cool. It's looking pretty, but it's pretty massive. It's almost, I'd say it's probably about 1/3 as big as the zoo is already. Like it's that much of an addition. It's just a bit tricky because there's no animals in it, so it's kind of tricky to make it look like it's an episode's worth. But I think it will be. There's loads of building, actually quite a lot of building that I'm like really pleased with. I feel like specifically with, well, I'd say with all the things I'm working on at the moment, I feel like I've had a little bit of an inspiration. Like, I feel like a lot of the stuff I'm working on at the moment I'm really pleased with, and I'm like, kind of feel like I'm getting better. Today some customer at work came to ask me for 20 empty banana boxes for a move. 20 extra empty banana boxes. Banana boxes specifically? That's very specific. Surely just boxes in general is what you want, isn't it? Hey Gecko, hey how you doing? Best pack just in case. Yeah, I mean mostly it's the furniture, to be honest, Lindsay. It's like I'm gonna be trying to do. I think I'm probably gonna show you this on a VOD, because what I'm gonna try and do. So basically, it's a 2-bed place, right? It's a 2-bed flat, and the what I'm currently in, as I said, is a 4-bed flat. Is a 4-bed house well, a 4-roomed house. It's not really, but what I'm getting is going from having, so the room I'm in where I record and I do on my computer and everything, isn't a spare bedroom really. It's not quite big enough. Yeah, I kept all my boxes exactly. That's what you're supposed to do. There's a would this have a switch? I think this would have a switch. So yeah, what I'm going to try and do is have like a room that can both be a spare room but also an office. So I'm going to get some furniture. I'm going to get some new like shelves, and I'm going to have those shelves. I'm going to put some casters on those shelves. Why has that been such a weirdo? So that most of the time, those shelves will be a partition between and the backdrop of my stream and whatever. Blank Stick Man, how you doing? Welcome. And then when I've got friends or family or whatever stay, why is that being so weird? Oh, I think it's probably just because I'm using the rod, which has got a weird rotation. Yeah, when I've got friends and family or whatever staying, then I'll push the rolling shelves back. It's a bit difficult to describe this, but to sort of rearrange the room, if that makes sense. Because I don't have the spare room will be mostly just an empty room with my desk in it. But now I've got my little nephew and stuff, so and I do sometimes have friends stay, so I would quite like to have a proper spare room. But it seems like a bit of a waste. Oh, you work in the fruit and veg bit. That makes sense, right? New DLC, new update. Amazing! This really wildest dreams. Has there been something said today? If there has been, I've missed it because I've been really busy. What's been said? I've missed it completely. Do we know what the new DLC is? Oh, we are still in the chatting screen. Sorry, guys. Let's go in there. Thanks, Z. Is that blue? Yes. Let's not do it proper. Let's not do it totally black. I've got no game sounds either, have you? There we go. God, I'm on it. I'm on the ball today. Told you, a little bit too much packing. I haven't seen. Well, if there has been, I haven't seen it. Completely haven't seen it. But that's very possible. Hey Fauna, how you doing? Hope you're having a good weekend. I'm having a look now. I'm going to have a look now at the Twitter. Have I completely missed an update then? Has it literally just happened? Hold on. Now I'm on the hunt. Hold on. Planet Zoo. Hang on a sec. Let's have a look. Let's have a wee looky. God, have I got no? Hold on, God, I'm useless at the moment. Hold on, peeps, we'll get there. Display capture. This is well professional right here. Watching what I'm doing. National videos of video. Blah, 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 blah. There's nothing. I mean, there's this. This was the last bit of news we had. Hey Rem, how you doing, bud? Custom height maps, and the zip's going to be included in a future update. Oh, right. You are merely speculating. You are merely speculating. It seems likely though, right? It seems likely. So that height maps thing is kind of interesting. I think it's going to be a little bit of a fiddle. It'll be a bit fiddly. And I wonder how many people will feel confident about about doing it. But we shall see. It'll be kind of cool. So those of you who don't know or have missed it, let's just bring that back over again and I'll show you. Put that back on again. So this thing, and it's basically, the gist is, the long and the short of it is that you can import a file, and it takes the, and it's got to be like grey like this. There's a bunch of things that they tell you it's got to be, like it's got to be this size, it's got to be a TIFF file. There's going to be some means of which you import this, and effectively it says it will use this picture as a reference for the layout of the zoo, the terrain generation of the zoo, being that anything that's dark will be lower ground, anything that's light will be higher ground, and then there are obviously degrees in between. So if you kind of blend them together or you have light patches. So it's kind of interesting because you would in theory be able to sculpt a landscape purely on a picture, so you'd be able to do it in paint or something and then import that. They wrote this will be included in a future update and we'll be sharing more information soon, so be sure to keep an eye out on our forums and our official channels. Yes, well we are due, right? So it's interesting. Don't really care for it though. I think it will be potentially interesting. I think the likeliest case scenario for most people will be that we'll suddenly see an influx of just landscaped stuff on the workshop, so it will open up a whole new channel of workshop content. So even though that might be a bit of a pain in the ass to do yourself, I think we'll probably just see loads of people just start creating their own terrain, and then that's what you can then download. So you won't have to download the TIFF file and do any of that stuff. You'll just be able to subscribe to somebody else's thing on the workshop. That would be kind of cool because it will be a bunch of preset. There'll be a bunch of like pre-made maps and things. I think they have said as well, if I remember rightly from reading that forum post, that there will be some like pre-made ones that they've given us as well. So right, so that's the controls for that. Does that make sense? It shouldn't really go to a switch, should it? It should go to like a computer. Conference room is coming along great. Cheers, thank you very much. I think it's definitely the projector, definitely the light that brought it together. In my Zoom there is also a conference room, only worse. Oh. Can't imagine at all it would be an aquarium pack. It'd be awesome. This is my dream. Is that what you're hoping for? I don't think it should go to I've actually got no lights in here, have I? I've got to work on that. So I think what we'll do for lights is just I think we'll try and do like just the squares. Is that actually that line is not, that's going to annoy me, isn't it? That's not straight. It's not straight in the slightest bit straight. It's not straight in the slightest bit straight. And the other thing is it does that thing as well, which is really weird because look at the way that this does this. So it makes sense that when you're up close, so what this is doing is there's a thing in the game that, so every asset that you have in the game, so every single piece has like a high res version and then a low res version. It's called a LOD. Can't remember exactly what it stands for, but as you move away from something, rather than it loading the high res version, it switches to a low res version, and that's so it optimizes better basically, so you don't have to load all those high res things all the time. But weirdly, and so actually what it's doing is it's simplifying that. It's like taking the curves out of it, I think, and just does it as a square. But so what you get sometimes is, as you move away from something, you know, if you've just done it kind of as I've done it, level of detail, yeah, I think that's right, probably right, Rem. But why does it come back again there? That doesn't make any sense to me. Why is it doing that? It's almost like at this range, I'm gone back to the high-res version. Very strange. This looks amazing, Taves. Thank you very much, Swifty. Very kind. Yeah, I think we'll bin that. I think we'll bin that because I've not done a very good job making it straight anyway. So let's just spam the undo button for a minute. Hey Dave, just popping in real quick, but just so you know, mine and your blueprint are competing for the front of the workshop page right now. I know, I have seen that. Kind of cool. Congrats. Yeah, yours is like a rock backdrop, isn't it? Like a muddy wall backdrop thing. And is mine still the Gabians? It's funny what people pick up and love, isn't it? I think I'm in first and third place or something like that. Last time I checked, one of my little huts is on there as well. Yeah, I think we want a laptop. I think this should go to... Maybe it should go to like a socket. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? It goes to a socket and then there's a laptop next to that socket or something like that. The other thing I wanted to try as well is some decoration for these walls. So I'm thinking we just do... I can't remember who said it last week, but someone said about a collage. So I was also wondering if we could use this. Oh God. Hello. Hello. As like a rug. Or is that... if that's going to be a bit much. Can you use this... in a larger maybe if you switcheroo but yeah, I suppose if we're getting, as you said, as Swifty said, if we're getting that height map thing, it does appear to be an indication of something larger. Strange, mine has more subscribers, but yours has more visitors. Yeah, no idea how that stuff works, to be honest, dude. It's all a bit. It depends. I think it depends on how long it's been there and stuff as well. So I think mine must be pretty much due to disappear actually. Because it's new stuff that week, isn't it? So I think mine's about to disappear. Do we think yay or nay on that? I think maybe that's a bit much. I think maybe that's actually a bit much. I think I preferred it. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. You can't recolour this, can you? No, you can't do anything to it. Yeah, I think it will be interesting, Swifty. I think it will be quite an interesting thing. I think it's going to be initially a little bit of a fiddly thing that people are going to have to figure out. But as I said, I think it will just mean that we get a lot of people making custom stuff, and that it will just mean that if you can't be bothered to do that, then there'll be a lot of stuff on the workshop that will suddenly just be like terrain maps, and you'll be able to pick up some custom terrain. This might actually need to be. Yeah, that'll be alright. That'll be okay. Yeah, I don't know. I felt like it was a bit I was a bit over the top, Lindsay. We shall see. I might just do, rather than doing a full frame, I mean, it definitely would. It would be definitely be nice if we get a DLC, because it will be. Yeah, it's kind of needed. It's kind of definitely needed. I think we might just do that with those. These are the sorts of things that you'd kind of love to see, like just more. I think the custom height maps thing will be, yeah, so I think it will be interesting. Unfortunately well, it'll be interesting to see how well it works. That will be definitely the test, like, because, like, how smooth is it going to make stuff? Oh, that one's actually smaller. Do you know what I mean? How smooth is it going to make the transitions? It's an odd one. I have to say, it's a bit of an odd one as a feature they've decided to add, but yeah, that works all right. Give those some lights. And I was going to work on the light panels, wasn't I? I hate how loud the Babarusa are in game now. Trying to build a shelter for them, and all I hear is their grunting and snorting. Do you know what I think the Babarusas sound like? And I noticed when I was making the Babarusa habitat, I think they sound like they're like a deflated football. I feel like the Foley people, whoever the Foley artist was for those, must have used a deflated football. It's almost like a dog toy sound. They sound like they sound like a deflated football being kicked around. If you know what I mean. It's a bit of a weird sound, but I kind of like it, but it's a bit of a weird sound. I have to say, it is one of the things they have generally done pretty well. The sounds are all pretty good, I would say. My favourite, what's everyone's favourite animal sound from the game? Just noticed I've got a little weirdy bit there. What's going on there? What the? Oh, we've just got a hole in the ceiling. Brilliant. Shocking. That's right, we've got loads of. There's some really good ones, but I have one particular one. I was literally going to say that, Lindsay. That's my favourite. It is oddly specific, but it reminds me. I actually was really interested in being a Foley artist at one point, because they do that. You watch the so Foley artists, if you don't know, are the people that do sound effects for all sorts of things. So they'll do sound effects for TV, like documentaries, like, you know, if you watch Blue Planet and all those sorts of David Attenborough things, often the sound is an extra, is added in. It's not necessarily always something that's been actually recorded. It's pretty unusual that you'd get, so you'd get the perfect audio. So they quite often supplement it with something. And it's a Foley artist's job to add that sound in. And so they come up with, so obviously if you're trying to come up with a Babarusa sound, you'd listen to what a Babarusa sounds like, and then you try and replicate that sound. But yeah, and obviously they won't, Frontier won't have gone out into the wild and recorded a Babarusa, or gone to a zoo and recorded a Babarusa. I think it's probably unlikely. I think they probably have got quite a lot of Foley recorded stuff in there. or someone literally just. I remember actually on Prehistoric Kingdom seeing a thing where the guy was like, "Yeah, I made that sound myself." it's one of the noises that the T-Rex makes or something. And he was like, "Yeah, I made that noise myself." Make a kind of low humming noise, and then you like just mess around with it in some audio software. Hey Wes, how you doing, bud? How you diddling? But yeah, I'm convinced. I'm pretty convinced that the Barbarossa is a flattened football. It's like a flattened soccer ball. Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you. Busy. So I had a big old purge this week of old content on my channel. I decided it was time to get rid of a load of old stuff. So I deleted. Well, I didn't delete them. I unlisted over 100 videos this week. Because I've got this bit of. I've got a bit of a weird thing happening on the old Chubs. Thank you very much for the subscription. I wish I could pronounce your name, but is that Chinese or something, or Mandarin? It's very beautiful, but I can't understand what it is. But thank you very much for subscribing. But yeah, I've got a bit of a weird thing happening at the moment because we've been at near on 4,000 subscribers for a good few weeks now. And it's just doing this really weird thing where I like get some more subscribers and then they disappear. I'm just going to double these up because they're never actually that bright. So yeah, I was like reading some stuff and doing a bit of watching some general kind of YouTubey things. And I was reading the kind of the theory behind focusing your content on specific things. Basically in order to make sure that the algorithm knows how to recommend your channel to people, who to recommend it to. And I've got loads of really old stuff that's got like just loads of stuff that's like old, like Frostpunk series and all that sort of thing, that's all super old, that never really had many views and things anyway, so I just decided to get rid of it. Hey Swan, how you doing, bud? So yeah, it was quite nice to actually just get a bit of a cleanse, on, because I've been doing that in life anyway. IRL, I'm doing that at the moment, clearing out some of my old crap. You know that thing, I've used to be really good at this, but I think it's one of those things that people always say, the more space you get to live, the more you just end up accumulating things. I used to be really good at just going, even with things like clothes, like I haven't worn that in ages, so just get rid of it and just purge it. And then as I've got a bit older and a bit more space. In fact, let's not do that yet. Ended up just kind of accumulating more More gubbins, more and more gubbins. Let's do this way this time. Yeah, and it's amazing when you start going through everything to pack it up again, how much you realise you're like, why did I keep this? Why have I still got... I still had... This is a bit crap, but I still had... I kept 2 pairs of Converse that were proper minging. Because they were like my festival. When I used to go to, I haven't been to a music festival for ages, but I used to go to festivals quite often. And I've been to I've been to Glastonbury twice, and I've been to, a bunch of good festivals. And they were like my festival trainers, but they were really manky and old and like falling apart. And had been like in the Glastonbury mud and all that sort of thing. I'd obviously cleaned them, so they weren't that bad. But you can't clean things totally. And I'd kept them just for like nostalgia value. It's like I'm never going to wear these again. I don't know. There's a bit of me that like, oh, I didn't want to get rid of them, but now I'm like, oh, I'm never going to wear them. What's the point? I guess those things don't have the memories, do they? Do you know what I mean? You don't lock the memory into that object. You have that memory with you. I've never been particularly like a hoarder, but yeah, it's quite eye-opening to look at everything that I've got and be just like, God, I don't need some of this crap anymore. Okay, hopefully this will light this room up a bit more. I might have to do a bunch. Another good reason for having like big thick ceilings is that the light in the game, the lights inside are never all that great. So being able just to hide a load of extra hidden lights in a ceiling sometimes kind of handy. Oh God. I don't really want loads of light back there, but we'll just have a couple. So yeah, we'll have to make I think we'll make a little computer, like a little laptop or something somehow. See if we can kind of knock that up. A little place that stuff's plugged in. Still got my signed shirt from the last day of school. You can't even read it anymore, but just can't make myself throw it away. I've got some of that sort of stuff. I don't have the signed shirt from when I left school. That's something that I definitely have chucked at some point. Probably along with, I vaguely remember having like a tea towel with a picture that everyone had drawn as well. I think I've still got somewhere I've still got like, well, I have a box of things that were sentimentally kept by my mum when I was like my I don't know, reports and things, occasionally like the odd school report and stuff like that, that she'd kept. And then when she passed away, I've sort of rediscovered all these things that she'd kept. and so I've got some of that stuff somewhere, and they're all the things that I remember my teachers always saying. It was like, really good when he applies himself. most of it was that sort of stuff. Really good when he applies himself, must not talk quite so much. Must learn to be quiet sometimes. What am I doing with this? I don't want to do that, do I? Just get rid of this. So I've got some of those things, but yeah, most of that sort of stuff I've purged over the years. I've got a few. I've got a. I don't know if you guys have ever really noticed it, but you might have seen it on the Twitch. But so I have behind me a map, or just to the right of me, a map of all the places that I've travelled, and it's got like bus tickets and postcards and like particular tickets, and that's got festival tickets and all sorts of stuff on it. So that's probably my most sort of sentimental-y sort of thing, and that's even got just looking over it now, it's even got it's got my ID, my picture card from when I was at university in San Francisco. It's got my San Francisco State picture card on it with a very young looking me. So yeah, I've got some of that stuff, but I've got two baseball caps as well that I bought at this. So two San Francisco Giant baseball team hats that I bought at the two baseball games that I went to see when I was there, of the Giants. And I had a couple of t-shirts actually. I don't remember where. I feel like some girl somewhere nicked one of my. I had a San Francisco 49ers big t-shirt. Someone snuck that away at some point. I don't know who it was, but some ex. Someone I gave it to, and they never gave it back to me, and I forgot about it. Harry Potter cause says talks too much. I vaguely remember they all sort of said that sort of stuff. They always said, very, very, very capable when he applies himself. That was generally the theme. That was always generally the theme. Okay, so that'll work because I can run a cable from there. So that's it's not exciting, but it's getting there. It's a little bit of detail. Does it light up the room? See, that's what I mean. Nothing lights up the bloody rooms in this game. You end up having to hide lights everywhere. There's no like spill out of these lights at all. So if I just bang one in the ceiling up there. Yeah, that's not too bad. Just do that in a bunch of places just to... The trouble is, you get this thing where it comes through the top. It really annoys me that it does that. Look at all that light coming through the roof. It's so weird that it does that. There's not a lot you can do about it though. Let's not have those. And what's that coming from? Is that coming from the projector? Why is that coming from the... Oh, is it just shining through that? Yeah, I guess there's no shadow being cast by that, is there? Maybe that's really difficult for them to do. Oh well, I'm going to worry about it too much. But yeah, it's been good to purge, but I'm still definitely going to need to get rid of some stuff. There's some like pieces of furniture and things that I'm like, I don't think I've got room for this. I'm pretty much going to take it all, but we might end up just getting rid of some stuff after I've moved. Right, what other decorative things can we do just to sort of jazz it up a bit? I guess there's all the like Indian things as well. Bum, 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 bum. Just do a few of these things here and there. I think there's something kind of interesting I can do with these, but they're nice though. They are nice, but they're a bit plain. Can I make some sort of... Someone said about doing a mural. I wonder what I can do. Let's have a little look for something to give me inspiration. Talked about having like a little fruit thing, didn't we? Every now and again, I'll just pull something out that I haven't looked at for a while and look at it and be like, what can you make of that? What can you make with that? What can you use this little puppy for? Right, we probably want one of these as well. A couple of these pop things. This one's... I quite like this one because it's you can completely change the colour of it to whatever you want. So I think we'll go... We'll make it nice and flat. We'll whack that in one of the corners. With a big pot, with a big plant in it of some sort. Yeah, I don't know why I kept all that. I mean, as I said, most of that stuff that I've got is... If I've got any of it... In fact, actually, it wasn't that long ago that I threw a load of my old... I had a bunch of, like... A-level work that I'd kept from when I was at school. And I binned that. I was like, why am I keeping this stuff? I guess at the time you think, yeah, maybe this will be useful to someone at some point. And maybe if I have like a kid, maybe this will be useful. But like, it's not gonna be. What are you gonna just suddenly give them all you? I had all the different voting numbers. I remember having to learn this at A-level history. So I did British politics as one of the subjects in A-level history. From like the turn of the century, well, the turn of the 20th century, and so I had just all these. If we can make some sort of like something that looks like acoustic tiles out of those. I had all these files with like that literally just had practice essays and essay topics and all the all the different voting numbers for each party for like 15 years from the turn of the century because I had to memorize it all. Yeah, and I still had that like 20 years after I'd written it. I was like, what is the point of this crap? See ya. I don't know. Are they anything? Do we think these are anything? Just decorative, but quite spaced properly. Bit of detail. I think we'll go for it. We'll say it's like acoustic. I have a lot of boxes. I'm going to do some stuff with mittens. You're obsessed. Go for it. Yeah, I don't mind those actually. They do something. Not sure what they do, but they do something. They do kind of look like they could be acoustic tiles. Acoustic panels. Still have my educating Rita script from my drama exam. Lad and I, who took the exam together, chuck lines from it to each other randomly on Facebook every now and again. Oh, how sweet is that? So did you have to be in educating Rita? Were you Rita? How funny. That's sweet though, that you're still in contact. That's from... Was that from school or from... When's that from? What sort of time frame are we talking about there? Wouldn't it be cool if there were mirrors in the game? There are no mirrors, are there? What else can we use? What else can we use? Looking for a little bit of inspo. Secondary school when I was 16. You were Rita. Nice. My auntie did that. My auntie did educate Rita at a as like an amateur dramatics thing. I remember going to see her. She was really good at it. Probably could have done that in like one piece, but hey ho, never mind. Why use one piece when you can use 6? Yeah, I was never really into that sort of thing. My brother was into it. My brother was the Artful Dodger. Oh no, he wasn't. Sorry, he was Fagin. Somewhere there are pictures of him as Fagin. And I think I vaguely remember us doing My Fair Lady at school. And doing like, basically just being like a waistcoat wearing, braces grabbing, one number 3 or something like that. That was my starring role. What are those things called? Is it from the Africa pack? I'm never very good remembering the names of the plants. Unless I use them regularly. That's not what I want. There's one that's kind of, it's like a palm tree that's like a grass, but it's like, what is it? Where are you? Where is it? Maybe it's not from the Africa pack. Has Rem used it out here? So it's like that. In fact, can I just use that? That would work. ponytail. Can we just like stick that in the ground? Maybe not. Let's have a look. Palm. I got really sneezy today. I think it's I've been moving stuff, like dust and dustiness in my nose. And I've just got that like constant feeling of that you're gonna sneeze, but you're not sneezing. Yeah, that's all right. Maybe go a bit further down as well. Yes, that works all right. Yeah, so my brother was fagging, and I remember I just wasn't into that sort of thing. I was, hey Snowdark, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, we haven't seen you for a while. I'm expecting when we start back with House Flipper, when we get Luxury DLC, to see a bunch of old faces reappearing, hopefully. Yeah, I was never into that sort of thing. I was always just a bit, because I was into football. So I was just like, I was one of those little boys. I was always a bit bashy and just like douching into things and banging about and being a bit of generally a bit of a wally. A lot more than I was certainly not really into my arts and crafts and my productions and all this. Get too nervous doing productions, so wouldn't let my family attend. Oh, that's very sweet. But did you do it quite a lot then? I hated it. I hated that sort of stuff. Couldn't be doing with it. I thought it was a bit namby-pamby. Because I was an idiot, clearly. That doesn't. I guess we could just pretend that's just got a pot inside it. What can we put in there then? Maybe another little palm or something. These are nice. It's a shame these are so huge, but they are nice. It doesn't work because it's massive. What if we put it all the way down there? No. Did a few productions. I love Jump Class, but I hated having an audience. I have no idea why I put myself through it. Do you ever wonder? Do you ever have those? Did you ever have those moments? You're like, maybe I was destined for maybe I was destined for Broadway. What could have been? Yeah, I always hated that sort of thing. Could not be doing with it. You couldn't force me to do that sort of thing. Just stuck it. I just didn't have as much. I didn't have that much confidence. I had really weird kind of varied periods when I was a kid of being like, mostly at primary school. It was all just about what was going on at home with my mum and whatever. Definitely be back for House of when Luxury if it becomes out. Nice. But yeah, I had really different periods of time where I was like really like a happy little. At primary school I was really happy and really popular and loads of friends and all that sort of stuff and really sporty and like captain of the football team and into athletics and all that sort of stuff. And then I think when I was a teenager that just was all different, and I was like went through periods of time where I wasn't very happy and yeah, didn't have very many friends and stuff, and wasn't really doing any kind of sporting things or any of that sort of stuff. A bit of a just, you know, generally like life-changing stuff, but I think it was also just a product of like not being particularly happy. But no, I was because I was never like, you know, I never really had anything. I never had, because I played football at school. I was always I was sort of friends with some of the geeky guys. I was probably more of a yeah, my friends were probably more in the kind of slightly geekier groups. Just looks a bit like it's sunk into the floor, doesn't it? Which I guess it kind of is. Let's just do it like that, maybe. I'll just not use that because it looks stupid. What was I saying? Yeah, so I was probably in the more like, some of my friends were really geeky, but then because I played a lot of football in my early parts of high school, I had some of the like tougher kids as well as my friends, so I think I actually just prefer the palm tree. We once did Whose Line Is It Anyway live on stage. It was so scary. Whose Line Is It Anyway? Goodness me. That's quite modern for. We never did anything that was like, that was never an option. To do anything vaguely modern. Tell you what maybe we need is like something just to make it look like it's got a bottom to it. It doesn't really work. That's quite interesting though. I might go with that. It's going to be mostly hidden anyway because I'm going to go back to that palm thing. But yeah, no, I was never just totally never. I kind of wish that some of that stuff I do kind of wish that I'd explored a little bit more. I was watching, I'm a big fan of Bill Bailey. I've been to see him live a few times. And one of his shows was on last night on the telly. And so for you, those of you who don't know who he is, he's a comedian, but also like really, really musically talented, and he's just got this ability. Seems to just have this ability just to pick something up and just be incredibly good at playing it. And I always kind of, there's a little bit of me that whenever I see him, I'm like, God, I wish I had just been forced to learn something, some kind of instrument. Might be a thing I'm doing, might be a thing I'm exploring. Maybe I'll do something like that. I'd love to learn the guitar or something like that. Something a bit more practical than like learning the piano. Because the thing is, you've got to have a piano. It's quite a lot harder to have a piano than it is to have a guitar. I don't know if I'm of the belief. I guess, well, people often say that, you know, learning everybody's capable of learning any instrument. And I'm all right, like musically. I think I've got an all right ear. I've got, some people just can't hold a tune, can they? Like you can't even. Like my older brother's a bit like that. He can't even he can barely. He can't remember. He can't hum a tune. He just can't get it right. He doesn't get it right. He just messes it up. It used to really always annoy me. I'd be like, "What are you even humming? That's not how it goes." So yeah, I would quite like to learn a musical instrument of some sort. Not sure what, but. So are you a hated school, or the I wish you're back at school kind of person? I think I was probably more of a hated high school, but it wasn't really school that was the thing. It was just my life. Like, I wasn't very happy, and I think that was probably more of it. But primary school, yeah, I definitely would say I was, I liked primary school. Just get a guitar and sit in front of YouTube tutorials. So my little brother's done that, and he's actually getting quite good at playing the guitar. I think you've got to have a discipline that I don't have. I'm not very good at just sitting down and, I don't know. I say that. Sometimes I am. In some things I'm quite good at. I'm quite good at sitting down and doing the stuff I do in like these games and things, but yeah, sitting down and teaching yourself to play the guitar, I don't know. I don't think I guess you never know until you just do it. It's the commitment. It's the I don't know. I don't know if I am someone that adheres to the idea that everybody can learn to play guitar. It's certainly easier to. I got given a harmonica because I really like blues music. I went through a really massive period of time where I loved blues. What's going on? We got a bloody missing bit of floorball there. Shocking. And I was convinced that I was gonna learn the harmonica. And I was sort of since told in later life that learning, if you're going to learn a musical instrument as your first musical instrument ever, learning a wind instrument is quite a lot harder than learning something that's you plucking a guitar playing a guitar, or because you've got to do the breathing. The breathing is not it's not easy. Let's just make a little weird kind of mural thing here. I don't know what I'm doing really, but we'll just give it a go. Yeah, because you got to do the circular breathing and everything. It's really difficult. I couldn't get it, and I have a book and I've watched a bunch of YouTube tutorials and things for that, but just was like, couldn't get it. I probably didn't try for that long. I'm just like, I can't do that. This guy's saying to do that, and I'm like, I can't do that. I can't breathe like that. Must I envy anyone who can play the sax? So the saxophone was the thing that. So my older brother, when he was at school, he went for a period. He never really got good at it, but he was trying to learn the violin. And my little brother's quite musical because he spent quite a long time trying to learn how to play the piano and stuff, and got to quite a high grade, and he's really good at it. Like he probably hasn't done it in ages, so he's probably a bit rusty, but he got to play he was playing like Scott Joplin and like things that were really catchy. So he was really good at it, and my older brother just banged away at playing the violin for a while and was terrible and just like tortured us all because he was awful at it. And the violin's not an easy one. And I always wanted to learn the saxophone, but if you're like, we couldn't afford a saxophone. The school didn't have one, so it was like, well, I can't learn the saxophone because we haven't got one, and that's it. There's no other option. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm making sort of, I don't know why I'm making like sand dunes, but I am. It's supposed to be like a sandy, beachy thing. I don't know. We shall see what this comes out like. These don't always come out all that great. But it's something to fill this empty corridor. But yeah, that's again, it's the physical thing of breathing, and I wonder if there are people that, you know, I think you can technically, you know, learn to memorize where to put your fingers and play a guitar, but maybe circular breathing is a particular. You know, I think that's probably harder to do. Certainly was for me. I was like, I can't breathe. I can't play and breathe. How am I supposed to play? I wasn't even getting vaguely a tune out of it, or able to hit kind of the notes and stuff, because I couldn't breathe properly. So, and we'll do like a, I don't know, we'll do like a mountain at the back or something. I don't know. See what, this is probably going to be garbage, and we'll ditch it. But it's supposed to be a little. It's going to be a little like paradisey island. That's that's what I'm shooting for. We shall see. But I know it's possible to learn. You know, it's possible to learn anything. It's just harder, I think, if you've. Certain people just, I guess, just really disciplined. I think my little brother is he's very good at just being able to sort of discipline himself to be like practice. Oh, actually, don't need that one. It's not doing anything. And I'd love to have that. I would really love to have that ability to do it. I just never really have found that. It's a bit crap, but maybe we can do something with it. How do we make some little trees? This is not going to work, but we shall see. Where's a V? Is that a big V or a little V? But yeah, like, it would be nice to have something that's like I think it's just like, I've got plenty of kind of hobbies and things, but I guess it's just like it's just a creative outlet, isn't it? I mean, it's a bit like this playing these games is all really just about having something creative to do. And that was that's always been the kind of motivation for making the videos and stuff for me. It's always just been like, somewhere to put my creative juices that I don't really have otherwise. I think to be able to pick up how to play an instrument, you really have to want to learn it. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Maybe I'm just an instant gratification person. Basically, I want what Neo has in the Matrix, where he just like downloads the information into his brain, and then he's a helicopter pilot. That's what I want. Having the motivation to actually do the work for it is obviously different. It's obviously a different kettle of fish. Tree? I think that's alright as a tree. This is a bit crap, but that's alright. It's kind of cute. It'll be alright. These could probably come onto the front of this. Let me just give that. I was thinking earlier, I was like, yeah, I was looking at the mod pack that, the Africa mod pack, which is like proper cool. It's got some amazing bits in it. Some of that I'm like, God, if I was a modder, first thing I'd be making is just like, all I'd be making, the very first things I'd be making are just like things for builders that are like, just give me one of these that's just a straight line. So just give me a straight line, give me a square, give me a circle, give me some of the things that we've got but just smaller, so that you don't have to mess about with them quite so much. My new hobby is learning Spanish. I did it at secondary school, so I have the basics, but I want to be able to speak it fluently. Nice. Are you going to what you doing? Are you going to evening classes, or are you like learning it off of the Tinterweb? To make one that's like just small in the background, some smaller ones maybe, just to give it a bit of perspective. Babbel.com. Nice. Yeah, is that like one of those what's that one? I think it's like Duolingo that you can do as well. That's like just like gives you little daily, it's an app, just gives you like little daily challenges. Yeah, it's cool to have those sorts of things, isn't it? Just little things that are little self-reward things. Quite important to have, I think. There we go. Little little diddy tree in the background. For no particular reason, but hey ho, I felt like doing it. Oh. Can I get any into the foreground? Maybe not. I didn't like those last two. We don't need those last two. Come on, let me undo, game. Why is it not letting me undo that? There we go. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Does that look like it's something? Does this just look like it's a? Does this look like it's a massive penguin, or does it look like false perspective? I think that'll do. That'll do for a mural. No, it's alright. I don't mind. Maybe that shouldn't be. Maybe that should be green. Let's have a look. What DLC would you most like to see next? I'm not desperate, to be honest. I mean, North America's basically happening, right? Are you talking about after North America? I think it would be something that isn't just like a biome pack. Why can't I? Oh, it's because they're all different shapes. Oh god. Like something like small animals. Like, I don't know. Just something that's a little bit out of the norm. Why can't I? Am I grouped with something that I shouldn't be here? They should all be recolorable because they're all the same object. Are they not? Primitive rectangle 1. I've obviously got something grouped in there I shouldn't. I got a tree. That's what we got. Yeah, that'll do. No more of that. I'm bored of that now. But yeah, something like small animals or something that's not just well, actually, no, saying that, I feel like we've had this conversation a bajillion times, but like aviaries would be the is the only one that's really going to massively break any new ground. I think, personally, And even aviaries that are just exhibit boxes would be fine, I think. There was a thing I was watching today. Rock Paper Shotgun did who are like a YouTube channel, do like loads of breakdowns of games and reviews and that sort of thing. And they were doing I think it was like top 12 management games or something. Planet Coaster was in there. And it is funny when you look at Planet Coaster, like so many more features in Planet Coaster. Yeah, there's stuff like the triggers and those sorts of things. Just really cool. The fact that, and the NPCs and all that sort of stuff. The fact that you had these kind of, just like park entertainers walking around, just adding, really adding a richness to it. Does feel a little bit like the characters that we get, the staff that we get in Zoo. Just a bit, I don't know, bit boring. Excuse me. They're just a bit like, I don't know, not much to them. Yeah, when I never really played it. I've got it, but I mean, I watched quite a lot of it. I watched Corrales play it a bunch, and a few other people play it, and then I never really it was a bit like City Skylines. I did the same that with him. With Corrales playing that, that doesn't look right, does it? That back bit's too chunky. I think we'll just have to accept the fact that the brace piece is going to be there. There's going to be those bits on the back. But yeah, having kind of looked at it a little bit, I've got it, and I might even have all the DLCs. I can't remember. I got it in like a deal or something, and just never really played it. But there's so many features that just add just a richness to it that we don't have. This is the best way. That's the only flat edge you get, is one of the side edges of this, so it's a bit of a pain. Hang on a second, I'm just having a thought. Have I done this somewhere already? Kinda did. Yeah. I made a little cursor there as well, look. Oh god, look at the Z fighting in that. Let's not look at that. I made a little cursor. I wonder if I can actually pick that screen up. Use that screen again. Let's have a look. A small animal can be so cool, packed with maybe crested porcupine, capybara. Someday we'll get packed like this. Yeah, I guess we'll see. Oh, actually, this is not using the thin font pieces. Oh, this is no good to me. Not to you. Yeah, I would like small things like mole rats and that sort of size stuff. Really small things, but not things that have to be in glass. Like vivariums as such. That are more like more like habitat animals, but you know that they're small and they can be more interesting habitats. I was trying to think the other day, like single biggest things that would make major differences to the game. They're a little bit thin on the ground now. They're a little bit difficult to come up with. I think maybe something like having more than one gate into a habitat would make a big difference, but I don't think it would make a big difference to like getting new players in. So the thing you've got to think about for most of it doesn't feel like Zoo is ever going to get to a place where it's competing with Coaster in terms of their, you know, the credibilities of them as games, but maybe it will. But I think if you look at the timeline of when stuff came out in Planet Coaster, yeah, we're not that far off of that timeline for Zoo. Yeah, it's not. Why can't I change the colour of these? I can. There's always the pain with these things. They just don't want to cooperate. They're all just doing weird things, aren't you? That's not going to work. That's not going to work. Rotate. Yes. Oh, God. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Those arrows. That's the... Not confusing at all. Oh, God. No, God. Oh, no, okay. Just don't even do it. Take one of those. Yeah, I think the thing that's it's always a bit gutting with PZ. It just never feels like you just kind of like the hype that happens in the sort of 2 or 3 weeks / you know, the first maybe month around a DLC. You know, it just doesn't last as long as you want it to. I do really enjoy that, the buzz of everybody kind of being excited and you're seeing all new things created, and then it just gets back to a gentle hum. It just goes back to a gentle hum, always a little bit too quickly. What animals are going to be in this zoo? All the animals are basically in this zoo, and I have done none of them. Because I'm busy making laptops and conference centres. So all the animals are pretty much in here. I mean, Zoov has got a whole bunch of different places he's got to add his animals back in, because we've got like giraffes just chilling outside the map. Excuse me? Excuse me? Excuse me? You're not supposed to be out here, are you? You've wandered beyond the boundaries of where you're allowed to be. So this is all supposed... I think this is supposed to be elephants and Africa. I don't know if this is going to be giraffes and things. And there's a whole load of habitats that are kind of halfway through. What is that? Oh, is that Drax's Birds of the World? But yeah, there's loads of animals already in. So there's like wild dogs here and there. Here, warthogs. Pandas somewhere. Some implied habitats. I can't remember what these are. Bongos, I think they are. Are they bongos? Yes. Anteaters we've got. Crocodiles we've got. Oh, they're crocs? They're gharials. Gharials. And then what else have we got? Well, that's cute. That's cute. I like that. Love that. Not sure one of the boys has made that one, but that is super cool. Little custom like slate roof. Or what's it called? What do you call those? What's the name of those called? Oh, I can't think of what it's called. It's not slate. The giraffe is fine. He's quite happy out there. I like that little gate as well. That's really nicely done. I wonder if this was... I think this... Oh, it's a little implied... Cute. I've not even seen this one. Stalk habitat. I think maybe this was Rem. Yeah, well Rem did... So this is the bongo habitat that Rem did. Is this tapirs? No, that's a pygmy hippo. Yeah, did we not have tapirs somewhere? I don't know. They keep changing it. They keep changing it. Zoov seems to like to change things, which is fine. Zoov seems to like to redo things. As long as it's being discussed with the others, I don't mind. Yeah, so it's got a bit of a way to go, and one of them needs to pick it up and get on with it so we can get it finished. Because I'm making progress here. I'm not that far off done, and this bit will all be pretty simple to do, be quick. But yeah, it's looking nice. I thought we had a tapir habitat in there somewhere, but I don't know. I'm sure anymore. No ideas. Let's just get some lights in here real quick. We'll just go with these ones in here. This is weird because I think that door's slightly offset. That's what keeps throwing my eye out. Is it? That looks like that bit of wall there is slightly bigger than that bit of wall there. So it's not quite centered. That carpet's not quite centered. Thank you, Swifty. If that bit should be wood or if that should be solid back to plaster. Right, my laptop. Who doesn't spend this amount of time on a laptop? Right, how do we make a keyboard? I needed a laptop actually, because I needed a laptop, so this is useful. Can I pick this up without it? That's not one bit. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's going to be a bit crap if you look at it from the back, because it's got that on the back of it. But hidden in a corner like that, it's okay. So I've done a keyboard before for the till that I created. So I could just could do that again. That will be sticking down inside there, so it won't be allowed to be on that, but it could be on top of the cupboard. Let's do that, I think. So like the very tops of things, of these posts, are quite good for this sort of stuff, but I think that's going to be too small. But I think we'll just use the post because these are all going to be too big. Let's just see. I don't suppose I can. Oh, I could do a space bar. Oops. I could do a space bar using the bracket piece. Trying to see if that could be a button, but it's a bit small. So let's just go. I'm not going to obsess over this too much. He says, he says, right, I'm looking for post. Which one am I looking for? Just have a look at that for a sec. Something that's got a square end to it. No. That's too. Oh, that's not a bad little button though. It's only 3 pieces. That's quite a decent scale. Is that better than the... I quite like that because it's got that bevel to it. God. Piece count galore. Sometimes just getting hold of what you want to get hold of is so impossible. There we go. And I've got to put those back in, delete that, do that all again. Okay, so that gives me an individual letter separated. And it's got an annoying rotation to it. Brilliant. So if I do 2 of them together, that should sort out. Hopefully that sorts out the... It does. Yeah, this'll do. This'll do us. This'll do us. It's just slightly more interesting than using the post, which gives you a square, which is what I had on the till. It's got a little bit more texture to it as well. Looks a little bit more like a button. I think it looks more like a keyboard button because it's got that kind of beveled shape to it. I'm not counting my keyboards. buttons. I'm not looking down at my keyboard in front of me and being like, is this the right number of keys? Because that would be next level mad. I'm just gonna do. Gonna do that. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, crap. Discovered a new thing in Tigridoo yesterday that I was doing. It was like, ooh, I've done that before. But a way to make, because I like imperfection. I think imperfection always adds something to a build. So like if you're doing a fence or something, I think this is often the difference between something looking realistic and it not looking realistic. I think I've talked about this before, but Jeff, you have like everything that's exactly the same colour, for example. It never quite looks right. But if you have some stuff that is, you know, slightly looks like it's a little bit more faded, that's not too bad. It's supposed to be the numpad. That's all right. That's okay as a keyboard. I'm happy with that. But yeah, so like if you think about how this floor would look, right, in reality, what makes this, what always is the gap between how convincing something will be, is that they've done a point. This in theory, this floor has not been laid with, you know, different color boards. It just is that's ended up being how it is as the, you know, the time goes by and the bits of wood fade at different rates and they just look different. So that's what they've done. So if you're building a wall, you know, if you're changing all the colors of things, if you make them all look the same, they won't look real. But if you just do enough of a, that's why, I mean, even this is all a bit repetitive, but if you do enough of it, so it's that imperfection that helps make it look realistic. And if you look at all the things that Frontier do, all of the things have some levels of imperfection in them. Like, you know, there's a knot there and an eye there and that sort of thing. When you're trying to recreate that, it's quite difficult. And one of the hardest things to get imperfections in is stuff like, you know, where you've got like big repetition of patterns and stuff. It just ends up looking unrealistic because it wouldn't look like that. You'd have irregular bits that are, you know, where, you know, things have been spilt or something looks a bit off about it. So I was doing this with the tarmac and this is another perfect example. Look how immaculately clean all that is, even though it's got all that annoying Z fighting. So one of the things I was playing around with was whether you can do stuff to make it look like it's messy and whether you can create these little imperfections. And so one of the things I was doing was playing around with these tree trunks. It's not going to be quite right here because whoever put this plaster down has all got, the colours are all a bit weird. The colour, it's got like a pink hue to it for some reason, this one. But if you, that's not, you know, you might sort of start to see what I'm talking about, but see, that can kind of look like it's just like a, you know, a little kind of weird oily patch or something. See, that looks like a, you know, slightly looks like a little imperfection. So I've done that in a few places in my, because I'm working on a big backstage kind of loading area. It's quite difficult to get that sort of thing in because it, you know, the game doesn't lend itself particularly well to having imperfections in. What would be super cool would to have just like a bunch of like decals that you could drop down for that sort of stuff. Just like little scuff marks and things that just, you know, add something. So that not everything looks quite so immaculate and perfect or brand new. And yeah, so those would be the sorts of things that if I was modding, if I was doing the modding, if I was ever modding this game, and not that I am, because I don't have the time or the wants to do that, but those would be the things that I'd be thinking about. Not, I mean, I guess they just, yeah, they're not the things that are like going to get loads of people clicking on them, I guess, which is fair dues. But those are the things that, yeah, they give me great pleasure in the game. In fact, let's not go that way. Let's not do that because it's another big ugly thing. Let's just do it from the floor. Let's just do that. Because that's the bit that makes it. I mean, this was always the thing that appealed to me about all of these sorts of games. Is it does become like you're making a doll's house. It's basically the modern equivalent of playing with a doll's house. Because you're just imagining. Most of the time when I'm playing, I'm building things. I'm just thinking about, like, someone posted something in the Discord earlier. I can't remember who it was, Okie Doke or someone like that, posted something in the Discord and was like, what could I do to improve this? It was an entrance building. It looked really cool, but the things that help stuff look just, I think just that extra little bit of realistic, and not everybody really cares that much about realism, but, and I don't massively, it's weird, but I don't obsess over. I quite like stuff to look nice, but I'm not going to obsess too much over the realism. In fact, I think there's a balance between stuff looking realistic. So, like my flamingo habitat is not particularly realistic because there's a balance of that being that I want it just to be kind of fun and nice, and like I enjoy doing it. But it's not realistic because of the amount of, you know, it's got way too much money would have been spent on making that thing. It just wouldn't be what they did. And if you look at most actual zoos are not like Paradise. They're not like massive, great big, almost more like a theme park thing. They're, oh, let's not do a 3-pin plug. Let's just do a 2-pin. They're pretty boring. They're pretty, you know, the actual habitats are not all that exciting. They're much more simple. Like, you know, a flamingo habitat is more likely just to be a big muddy hole with some water in it than it is to be big and glamorous, flamboyant, as ended up being my title of my video. But I do enjoy the. But I enjoy the thinking. The thing that helps me make something look more realistic, if I want it to look more realistic, is the trying to imagine how something works. I think that's it. It's like imagining how someone would be using this room. Like, yeah, that's in theory them plugging their laptop in there, and that's what's controlling this projector, and that cable is how that projector's getting the signal to switch the slides. And yeah, that I think it's just that sort of thing that I kind of obsess over a little bit and enjoy a bit. What else can we do in here? Doesn't need a lot more, does it? Maybe it needs a little. It needs that little food station we talked about, didn't we? I hope the next DLC we'll get sea lion, because it built a habitat for them, and it would be so cool to get more aquatic aquarium animals. Yeah, it would be interesting to see, won't it? Because we might get, I suppose it's possible that we might get something that swims more. I'm trying to think now of the animals we've got. What animals are missing their dive mechanic? Are there any that are missing there? Are there any that should be swimming that aren't swimming now, or have we had them all? I can never remember what these are called. The little bottles. Drinks. Yeah. These never really look right, but interesting that you can change the colour of them by duplicating them over the top of each other. Not really. Maybe a little like, is it like a little tea thing or something, didn't I? Like a little, I thought I started doing this. Did I start doing this? Cup? No. Mug? No. So we'll do like kind of like an urn thing. Urny. Oh, I did start doing this because I remember trying to figure out how to do a spout. What did I do with that? I must have just deleted it because it was crap. I don't want that Z-fighting happening. Thank you very much, game. A clutter pack would be cool. Yeah, just something that gives us, like more little things, really. That's not good. That's not good, is it? As a spout. Bracket. If in doubt, use the bracket. That always gets you out of trouble. this case. Not in this case. It looks rubbish. It looks rubbish. I think I call it to build a habitat for sharks or stingrays or dolphins. Just think about it. Yeah. I don't. But it's not. But it's not. It's not Planet SeaWorld. Like, do you see them at zoos? Do you see whales and sharks at zoos, or do you see them at like the sea life centres or the aquarium? I totally agree. I'd love to see them. Just not sure that we'll get them. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. That's no good. It's not a thing. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. How does one create a spout? I want a spout. This is not spout-like. This is rubbish. I started using the umbrella, didn't I? But I don't want the umbrella poking through there. What can I use that looks like a spout? Can I use that? It's going to stick through the bloody floor. That's going to stick out there though as well. See, that would be alright for like a squeeze out your condiments, but not for an urn. It's not right. It's not right. It's not enough small pieces. There are zoos that include sharks and zoos, dolphins and fishes. I'd love fishes. I'd love fish tanks. Hey elephant, how you doing? Fish tanks would be epic. I mean, I'd actually be quite happy to see just a pack that is like just does exhibit animals, but does it like properly. Just gives us a whole bunch of different choices of sizes of boxes, bunch of different. Yeah, we get like ants and stuff. Yeah, London Zoo has this like, and I think it's quite a lot of zoos have this like amazing exhibit of like worker ants, leaf cutter ants walking over your head and all that sort of thing. I'd love to see all that sort of thing. I would definitely buy a DLC that is just exhibit animals. It's just such a shame because the models and stuff, like the terrapins, are really wicked little things, but they're just so impractical to get anywhere into a zoo because of those stupid great big boxes. But if we didn't have to have those boxes, they'd be much easier to use. Excited to see animated dung beetles, and was next to nothing really. Yeah, well they don't really animate, do they? Those they just kind of I mean they're all loop animations. All the exhibit animals are loop animations, which is okay. So there's no like pathing AI going on there. They just they do the same animation over and over again. Most of the exhibit animals just spawn in different they basically just appear and disappear. If you look at like the what's it called, the stick insect thing, it just appears in different places, and same with all the spiders and all that. I don't think the spiders even move. At least the dung beetle actually moves. I'm pretty sure none of the other stuff moves, does it? The beetles and everything, I don't think they move. I think they just appear. They just appear and disappear in various different places. Maybe the iguanas and things do. I don't think the snakes do either. I don't think any of that stuff animates. The terrapins definitely move around, but again, it's no pathing AI. It's all just and that's it's all just fixed paths. I'm really struggling to think how to make this. I'd make a mod pack that just like added a third size to all of these things. It's just small, actually small. Like it's just, you can't, that's the smallest one. It's huge. We want something that's got... We just want something that's got a little hook to it. A little hook. I'm struggling. I'm struggling. Nothing that's going to look like a nozzle. That's the trouble. All this is going to look... The best thing that I can think of is the umbrella, but it doesn't, it's not going to look great. It's going to stick out the bottom of this thing. So I could make that work, I think. I'd have to put like a bunch of them in, because at the moment it looks a bit like Cyril Sneer's nose. Cyril's ear. Oh, you can change the colour of it. Should we make it pink so it does look like Cyril Sneer's nose? I think if I just like give it a bit more meat. Again, as I said, why have one piece when you can have 5? So I don't know what I prefer, tunnel with sharks or manta rays aquarium with dolphins and orcas, or small aquarium for fish or octopus. I just want small things. I want smaller things because there's so many, little cluttery spaces where you just want a little thing to go in a little nook. Yeah, I'd love to be able to put into this. Yeah, for example, I'd love to be able to put into the walls of this like little exhibit animals. I mean, I could imply some of that. I could just do it like as implied stuff. Like a little. What's going on there? I already noticed that, didn't I? Bit of floor missing somehow. Like a little glass tank with something in it. It just looks like it's implied, but it's such a pain to do it with these big boxes. I mean, even having maybe the collision turned off with them as well would be like, because obviously that's hitting all the path that's in there, so it's not going to let me place that. But just so, it's so huge. And it works for something like a snake, isn't too bad. Like a cobra or something, that's alright, but you just want like a little terrapin tank. Can you not switch it to the other side so the body sticks into the cupboard? Yeah, that's what I was probably going to do, I think. I'm going to have to move that. I'll probably just... I guess we could just grab that unit there. Reuse that one. Oh. That's not the one. Let's move our little mini fridge out. Do. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Another one of those. And then we'll put a little bracket thing in front of it. So it's got like a little label dealie. You can only have tea. You can only have I guess I could do a little thing. Oh, well, milk is in the fridge. Milk is in the fridge, so we don't need to see milk. So tea and coffee, milk in the fridge. We need some cups, though, don't we? So that tells you that there's tea in there. Oops. Do. Drip. No, drop. There it is. Tea. Coffee. Well, coffee, tea. Nice. Those bottles look like they're a bit. Oh, I suppose they are, aren't they? Maybe that should show. Excuse me. Excuse me. Very burpy. How rude of me. Got any gap there? No. So I just want a little thing to put cups on, really. Oh, actually, yeah, I can go that way. Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll go like that. Oh, do you know what we'll make? A little trolley. We'll make a little trolley. We gave Mittens and Bubbles a bath at the same time. That sounds like carnage. That sounds like utter carnage. How'd it go? So I hope we get some eagles and owls. Yeah, I'd love to see owls. I was saying that before. I think owls would be a good one for a European pack, like barn owls or something. Oh, that's got an interesting lod. Look at it. That's completely goes flat as you move away from it. Weird. Not at the same time. Mittens didn't like it. I'm sure. Did you actually like in a was it like a sheep dip thing? Or did you just take him into the bath? Oh, just unpaused it. Didn't mean to. Is it that one? No. What's that called? I thought it was just post. That's the one. That's the one. Yeah, that is really weird that those look how close I am to that, and it's in the low res version. That doesn't seem right, does it? It's a shame because it's going to make my little trolley look poo. Bubbles hates baths. After we gave him a bath, he rolled around in the grass. Yeah, they always do that, don't they? I think dogs always work really hard on their level of stank. It was my dog Jack used to do that as well. It always be like, oh my god, I've just worked so hard that I'm really proud of my level of stankiness. This is months and months of stankiness. Or however long it was, weeks probably, since we last bathed him. And then you go and wash it all away, and they're like, oh man. There we go. There's a little trolley. Right, now we're going to put I was just thinking, how are we going to put cups on it? How do I make cups? That works alright as a little trolley. Maybe it's a bit small. Maybe tomorrow we'll hear news about the 1.7 update. What's Sunday tomorrow, isn't it? So I doubt it. But maybe. Barkley does rolling around thing, but Cordelia likes smelling nice. Of course she does, because you've called her Cordelia. Barkley's a boy dog, and you've called him Barkley. It's like, when you name your kid. People say that, don't they? If you name your certain children, just kind of adopt the names that you give them. I think I've said this before, but two of my best friends they've got two boys. Let's give one of these a little bit of a wonk. A little bit of a wonky wheels are turned, just a extra little bit of realism. And they christened them both Alexandra. I can't remember which one it is. Alexander, yeah, and Joseph. And Alexander always stayed as Alexander. He just kept that because he was like a good little boy. And Joseph pretty much immediately became Joe. Because he was naughty. So yes, if you call your dog Cordelia, darling, of course you want it to stay clean. Cups. How do we make a cup? She was 5 months old when we got her. We kept the name. You have told me that before, to be fair. But yeah, stinky boy thing. It's probably true. So cups you can make out of. You can suggest paper cups out of the brace piece. But again, this is kind of tricky because I'm going to end up with all that crap sticking out. So if you make that white basically, and then you kind of do like just a little bit of a colour shift so it's different. And that kind of ends up being paper cups. But then we've got a problem again because I've got a load of crap to hide away. You're playing Planet Coaster. Nice. What are you working on? I have to hide that bottom. I know what I could do. Maybe I could put a box down there. Oh shit, they come right all the way through to the bottom as well. My brother is calling Mittens Mr. Sheep. Well, that works. Box. Shelf. There we go. Some boxes I made earlier. A theme park. Well, yeah. I guess that's pretty obvious, wasn't it? A stupid question. Yes, it was a stupid question on my part. Let's make that a shelf. Like up there. My dad always used to tell a story when I was a kid that we used to go fishing sometimes with him, and my dad used to have a caravan, and we used to go fishing. We used to take the caravan. It was one of those caravans you could tow, so it was on a like a, I can't remember what they call it now, like a tow bar, let's just say. That's not what I was looking for, but and we'd take it and we'd just like find somewhere to put it for a weekend or whatever, and we'd fish. And this, apparently I was left, I don't remember this particularly, but my dad went back to the caravan and I was left at the river. Some old bloke walked up and was like, what are you fishing for? And I just said fish. Fish. And apparently what the correct response to someone saying what you're fishing for is the specific type of fish that you're trying to catch, but I did not know such things. This isn't going to hide that, is it? This isn't going to hide that. It's going to need to be more involved. It's going to need to be more involved. Okay, maybe a little sealed in bit with a drawer, with some drawers. Mr. Fish works for me anyway. Mr. Sheep, I think that makes sense. Why not Mr. Sheep? Yeah, I'm gonna try and make it look like it's a little drawer. That's my plan. This is a classic Planet Zoo thing though. Like, starts off with one idea, and as I try and do it, it just ends up becoming more and more involved because I'm trying to accommodate around the fact that I haven't got the pieces. So kind of like that about this game though, because it does just kind of end up forcing you to be more creative. That looks a bit rubbish down there, isn't it? It's a lot of like problem solving in this game, weirdly, when you're building. I always find. Oh, what? We might actually just close the back. Yeah, it's all little problem solving things. It's like this sort of thing. It's like I'm trying to, how do I get myself round this, hiding this bit away. What's going on? What have I even got? Oh, that's weird. No. I see you, little gap. Font pieces are pretty forgiving with their lack of Z fighting. They do still do it a little bit, but they not as bad as everything else. Oh, shiza. No, that's not what I'm trying to do. Go away, messy white blobby things at the back. We don't want you. There was a really Eben did a really cool thing when we were doing Serenity. I vaguely remember there being a little. He did a little like tea box, looked like a little box of tea in it. What was the hardest thing you built in PZ? Don't know really. It's difficult to say that, to be honest, because the pieces changed, right? So you couldn't do something like this a little while ago. What's the hardest thing? It took me a long time to do the tropical zone. Back to Crystal Maze there all of a sudden. The tropical dome, the actual physical build of that, to get the structure took me quite a long time, because I had to kind of teach myself how to do it, and it was lots of jiggery pokery with the rotation and stuff. I guess that's probably my I certainly wouldn't now say it's my best build, but based on my level of skill at the time and what I was trying to do, yeah, I would say that's probably the thing that was hardest for me to build, if that makes sense. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was my best thing now. Right, so I need to put a little drawer in that. Should be straightforward enough. So let's go back to our... Yeah, it's too wide. That one will help though. Should rebuild the dome. I'm going to be building another dome. There'll be a dome for Zimba. So for the African zoo. I think there's going to be a dome that's going to have the gorillas in it. And that will probably be a more complicated build than the tropical dome was. Structurally, it'll be a simpler. It'll be smaller. No, this isn't really working. But I think it. Yeah, most of that, as I said, it was difficult because I wasn't that good at, you know. I didn't know half the techniques for building stuff basically that I now know. I'm a lot more confident in the controls. A big part of that problem solving thing in this game is just, when you're trying to do something, just knowing the pieces, right? Does that look like a draw? What does that look like? I don't know. I don't feel like that added much to it. We could do that with gutter pieces instead of the font pieces. No, it's kind of too big. Because that line looks a bit weak maybe. Now you are now, now you're better. You make it really cool. Yeah, I'm never. It's just like always got more. Yeah, I think we'll make it out of gutter pieces. Always got more ideas than I've got time to do in the game. And it is hard, dude, when you're like making, it's hard to kind of fit stuff in sometimes. I'm not very good at shutting projects down. In fact, that was only like, that was a standalone project. That dome was just it didn't have a purpose. It didn't have a zoo. It was just a dome. So, and it was a, I remember how many episodes it was, but it was quite a few. Yeah, that looks better. It's a bit more. It's got a bit more depth to it. But I think what will be cool is, and what I'm looking forward to is that it's likely that there's going to be a Planet Coaster 2. I would imagine most people would think Planet Coaster 2 is not that far away. Probably next year, hopefully. And I started this game with no build. I had no idea how to play the game, really. And a lot of the people that started this game that had played Coaster had some ability to. It's not quite the same game, but it's close enough. Which do you prefer, Prehistoric Kingdom or Jurassic World Evolution? Definitely Prehistoric Kingdom. I actually got a refund on Jurassic World Evolution. It's a good game, but it's not really my cup of tea. It's a more simulator. I'm not really in management. It's not the management stuff that really appeals to me. I get really bored of that really quick. And Jurassic World Evolution is basically mostly about, that looks better. It's mostly about just management. Like, it's cool. It's a cool kind of experience, but I just didn't find the gameplay bit of it really that compelling. I never remember we've got these. These are really nice. Can I make those? Question time with Toves. Is that one? Yes. I should use these more. Can I use that? What can I use that for? Can I use that for? We can put some plates in there anyway. Not what that's for though. Right. It's nearly done. It's nearly done. What have we got? Maybe a little... I think maybe just a little, like, serviette thing. And then jobs are good in. Question time with Toves. Go for it. Shoot. Ask me any question. Can't tell you. I can't promise I'll answer everyone. People do that, don't they? That's a streamer thing. Q&A streams where they just like ask me any question. What is my favourite game? What's your favourite game when you're not streaming? I don't really know, to be honest. It's difficult because once you start kind of investing. Once you start investing your time in making content, it does become I almost have like a bit of a thing where I'm like, unless I'm being productive, I feel guilty. I'm like, unless I'm actually kind of making content that I'm recording, I feel a bit like I'm wasting my time. I would probably say the only game that I play at the moment that I play just for fun is, well, I play, to be fair, I play this for fun. I play all my games for fun because what's the point otherwise? I don't hate it. I love it. But probably only like Rocket League I just play just for fun. Because it's kind of nice to be able to just like have a little blast and play for, 10 minutes or something. That's a slightly different. I guess that's a slightly different game question to like, what's your favourite game? Right, Wes. No worries, dude. Does that look like it could be napkins? I don't know. It just looks like a box. They're a bit thin, those. Yeah, let's not do it like that then. Let's get rid of that. Let's do it with bracket, bracket, bracket piece. Totally looks like napkins. Did. Hang on, what about if I did drop? Oh, I always forget we've got these decals as well. Is there a decal that's square? That's going to be huge, isn't it? God damn it. So these are all right for doing. I can like, you can't change the colour of them, so you can, but you can kind of go. Maybe if I put it on the edge. Obsessed. Who needs to play with animals, right? You can make little napkin boxes. Make little boxes with napkins in them. Who needs animals in the game? So we could have it like that. It's not terrible, but it's not great. Little stack of paper cups. Yeah, it's supposed to look like a little stack of paper cups. I think that's all right. I think that's okay. I think we'll call it. I wonder if there will be a Planet Coaster 2. Yeah, I think there's highly likely there will be a Planet Coaster 2. I would be surprised if they're not already like well into the development of Planet Coaster 2. I would say I wouldn't be entirely surprised if there is barely anyone working on Planet Zoo anymore, and that they are all working on Planet Coaster 2. Would be my theory. Yeah, I think that looks cool. I think I'd buy that as a little trolley. It's really annoying that it does that thing where it looks way better when I'm up close to it, isn't it? It looks way better there, much more convincing. Who needs animals you can make? Oh right, I see what you mean. Yeah, gotcha. Little tea's made. Little. Who needs animals when you can be like, more tea, Vicar? Maybe I wish there would be a Planet Aquarium. That would be like Planet Zoo. That's possible. I think it's a little bit more limited in scope than a purely aquarium game, and I would be a fan and I'd be up for it, but I'm not sure it'd be big enough for them to make a Planet Aquarium. But it's a difficult one actually, because it's almost like it's not quite big enough to be a game, but it's also a bit too big to be a DLC, if you know what I mean. It's like it's a tricky one, that. But I guess maybe. Yeah, now I think about it, but what you'd have to do, I guess what you'd be forced to do if you have an aquarium game is you'd have to have like shows, wouldn't you? If you think about it, an aquarium is much more like sitting down. Like the big ticket things are much more like sitting down things, aren't they? So like your whale show and your dolphin show is all like a sitting down in like an amphitheatre type thing, and that's something we've not got in this at all. They don't. It's a real shame, because I'd love to see that. What's this? Is it underwater? This little guy, yeah. Right, let's get some grab. I think there's some boxes and things that are over here that I can grab. Things like that. I don't know what these are going to be, but we'll just put them on. We'll just put them up here. They're just things. Maybe they're like goodie bags or something. I don't know. Where's my boxes gone? Stick some boxes down there as well. Oh, lost. There we go. Let's get a bit of clutter on these shelves. Let's have that one as well. Oh. What's everyone having for their dinner? I've got like weird. I think they had like duck burgers or something. Basically, I'm trying to use everything that's in the freezer at the moment. Pretty much just trying to use all the last gubbins from the freezer. Stick some of this up there as well. We just had curry from the takeaway. It was tasteless. Oh, that sucks. What did you have? Was it not your normal takeaway? That's the whole thing, isn't it? Well, now I'm moving. I'm not sure. I'm hoping that I'm not moving that far away, so I'm hoping that my takeaways are still like within range. Because that's like an investment, isn't it? It's like a time investment and a money investment as well. When you move to a new area, you like suss out the best takeaways for the various different takeaway options. Try a different takeaway. Yeah. There's your risk, isn't it? It's the risk that you just end up with something crap. That sucks, though. Keema Madras. I don't think I've ever had a Keema Madras. I like a prawn boona. That's what I usually go for. It's quite a standard one, I guess. Finally found a Chinese restaurant that delivers to us and it's good food. So happy. Yeah, that's good times. So I'm hoping that the new place by my solids. So I have like grades of takeaway. So I don't mind. Sometimes don't mind like I don't know if it's just me, but don't mind if I'm going for just like an everyday takeaway. Not like every day of a takeaway, but you know what I mean. Like if it's a just fancy a takeaway because I can't be bothered to cook type one, then there's like a cheap and cheerful that's actually alright, but then there's one that's like if I was going to go out for a takeaway, or I've got like people over or something, that's a bit of a nicer one. But yeah, all these things have got to be, maybe have got to be rediscovered in the new house, in the new flat. We shall see. Oh, what am I doing? I'm in here. Is there anything that we can use that's kind of interesting looking in here? Has that got any purpose whatsoever in this situation? Not really. A box. Christmas box. A duck. Lots of people forget that these are here. These are really cool. There's loads of really cool ones in this that you can use just in your builds. Like tennis balls. You can make I wonder if you could make a ball pit. I guess you probably could make a ball pit. Put 1,000 of these boxes, these tennis balls down. Usually have biryani, but fancy the change. Yeah, it's always the problem, isn't it, with a takeaway? Because sometimes you find that basically the only dish that you like or that's any good from the particular takeaway is the one you always Is there another box somewhere? Let's just oh, there we go. Oh, is it on its side? So it's not usually on it. Oh, there we go. Let's just unpause it because it might pop. No, it's fine. That would be grim if you can't get your usual, but at least you have your pub. Yeah, I think there's some other options as well. I used to really like Caribbean, the place I used to live. So I used to live on over the kind of east side, southeast London. And there was a place that I used to go to that was a Caribbean food, so you get like really good jerk chicken and curried goat and that sort of stuff. And I think there is a Caribbean place that's within range of the new house, or the new flat. I keep saying that, but which is wicked. I guess we could have some fruit, but I guess we could have some fruit in a little bowl somewhere on the top of the top of there. Yeah, it's kind of quite nice little. So quite liking that being all kind of backstagey gubbins. Let's make this little table. Get rid of all that. I was thinking the other day what might be quite cool in this game eventually that we end up might doing is let's just build houses. Because I was thinking the other day as well, is that you don't really have to, barring the fact that if you play this game in a way that's like there's no maybe we'll put the fruit somewhere else. The fruit back here. If you play this game in a way that there's like no guests and no staff and no animals and it's just a purely for building, then you could make houses, and you could make houses on just an entirely different scale, couldn't you? You could just completely ignore the scale, and because it's only the people that give you that scale, right? So you could make it so that, I don't know, like that this is a brick for a house, and you build a house, and then you fill that house with all like pieces. It'd be a bit nuts, but it might be kind of fun. Because then you'd have no restriction, you'd have no issue about things being the wrong scale, because you just change the scale to whatever you want it to be. If that makes any sense. So everything's just like, it's like a giant. Well, it wouldn't feel giant because in relative terms, everything would be different. Everything would be. Yeah, it would just feel different, and maybe that would work. Maybe that would be a thing that I'd do at some point. Who knows? As I said, there's never a lack of ideas. It's just a lack of time usually. Right, where's that little? Where was that little bowl I just had? There it is. Yeah, let's do that again. It'd be a pretty nuts project, but I think it would be doable. Just making a house on a massive scale. You'd obviously lose all the this would not be a plate anymore. You'd have to make a plate. You'd have to make a sofa, but you'd have. Yeah, we could make that. We could make that exact same thing, but just like 10 times bigger, right? And we'd have so much more control over it because if every piece would be tiny, we'd be able to tweak every piece to whatever we wanted it to be. Australia. Don't suppose you'd be able to have any trees. Yeah, so I sort of sussed that out already, but you'd have to. So what you'd have to do is that in every window, so you'd never see outside. You never see outside. Maybe you see the sky. Oh God. In fact, let's do a save because it's been a while. You never see the sky, but even the sky you could actually fake because you could use the screens. And you could have a view out of the window that's actually just a view into a screen. So if I just, I just got one of these massive freaking screens and put it up somewhere. And that's what we see out the window. What's the biggest one? One of these ones, isn't it? So I mean, and if I just put, that's the view out of my window, and I just put on there a little scene with people driving around or whatever, a little outside world. I mean, in theory, you could do that completely with the game anyway. Just block out everything you can see. Yeah, you could make a zoo in space if you wanted to, couldn't you? With just doing this. I think someone did do a thing. I think Just Goron did a sky. He basically just put like a dome up. Hey Jamie, how you doing, buddy? Creatively challenged? Oh no, you creatively challenged at the moment. The conference centre is going well. It's going well. I'll show you through the door. So we did this little random mural. I don't know. I think it's alright. I think that's alright. And then we just done this. We've just made this little refreshments corner. The little trolley and whatnot. And we've got the laptop that's controlling the screens and whatnot back here. And these are supposed to be like acoustic panels. I think that works. Yeah, it's looking alright. It's coming along. I was just off on a tangent about an idea, but I think I'm... How come you're creatively challenged at the moment? trying to make a little knife. Just never get any good ideas. I don't think I ever get any good ideas. I get ideas. I get ideas. I have plenty of ideas. Not whether they're good though. It's a different thing. Drop. It's not really going to look like a knife though, is it? It's going to look more like a pen. Does that look like a knife? I don't know. Don't think so. It does. It does. I think it does. It's not going to a point. That's the problem. Yeah, that looks like a knife. I'd buy that as a knife. That's for chopping your fruit. That's for cutting your bit out of the fruit. Where's the other melon bit? Melon. Yeah, look. There's a chunk we cut out by that knife. So you take a plate and a napkin. You can get some fruit as well. Have some fruit and be done with it. Now watch the presentation on Africa. Be happy. Right. I'm nearly done with it here. Let's have a look. See what it looks like in the dark. It's -2. How come it's -2? It's never that cold. It still doesn't look light enough in here, does it? I guess it's okay because it is supposed to be that we're all focused on this presentation. I'd maybe like my little refreshment corner to be a bit lighter though. Oh, great. Good job. Good job. I've grouped these all together. Fantastic. Ba-da-ba. Maybe you'll get some inspiration from a new DLC that everyone's rumouring. I don't really know where I get my ideas from. Most of the time it's just randomly it's just I don't know, just random. I don't look that much. I certainly don't look that much online for things, and lots of people do look at. I've never really felt like I get on all that well. Let's not do that. With the looking for trying to recreate something, I never feel like that really fits me all that well. Maybe just one of those. Yeah, that's better. That's sort of light. That's what we want. Yeah, that works. I find if I try and do like a straight up recreation of something, it's just always a bit frustrating. Yeah, I think that's probably, unless anyone's got any other suggestions. Do I have a bin? Have I made a bin anywhere? I could have sworn I'd made a bin. Oh, I'm not in the right one, that's why. Bin. Have I got a bin that someone else has made? No, there's a bunch of bins. There are a bunch of bins on the workshop. I guess we could put some of those books in there as well. Made a bin in the other bit. Oh, in the little guest services thing. Yeah, maybe you're right. Is that just floating? Yep. It's all getting a bit nice and evenly spaced out, isn't it? It's all a bit... Yeah, that's okay. I think it's -2 because it's the one of the scenario maps. Set in like Estonia or something, and so that's cold. Right, where's me bin? Where's me bin then? Oh, we can have that as well. Shove that in here. Have I actually got that door? I have. Say this is on sale. Say this is on sale for some reason. I don't know what it is. Say it's like a guide. Something to do with this conference. Oh wow, that's actually letting me... Is it going to let me select everything there? No. Do. Oh, I just thought of one thing we could have in here. But I think I'm not gonna. So I've got a thing I could add in that's the thing that I've made for Tigridu, but it's an episode of Tigridu that you haven't seen yet, so I think we'll hold off on that. Yeah, I thought I made a bin, but I don't. It doesn't seem to be that I have. Ah, there we go. It's a bit small. That's all right. That'll do. Feel right for napkins. It's a bit nothing-y, that, isn't it? Does it not have a little pedal? It does. I'm just not picking it up for some reason. It's just disappearing into the floor. It's a bit small. It's a bit rubbish. No, we can't have that little stupid bin in here. And we could have a real bin, but I think they're going to be huge, aren't they? Too big. About that little basket. About that guy. That one wouldn't be terrible. Just don't have it over that side, just only have it over this side. Yeah, there we go. I think that works all right. There's no napkin. There's no napkin thing over there though. Okay, one last little thing I might do. Just have a quick look at the dark again. Actually, they do reflect on those quite nicely. Could just do a little. Never actually shining the way you want them, these, so you have to kind of fake it. So you put one in. But it's off. And then you put another one in the floor. And that one's on. And then you move that. Like that. Get that now, can I? Impossible. Delete the whole building to get that. There it is. Obsessive. It's got a bit obsessive now. We've reached faff level, maximum faff level. Oh. A little bit high. Right, there we go. That'll do. So they all have refreshments, fruit refreshments, a little bin, some artwork to appreciate, a PowerPoint presentation, a little teas matey trolley type thing, tea, coffee, drinks, little mini fridge that's got milk in it, some shit back here as well. And then this is going to be the backstage office. This is basically going to be admin for the whole of the zoo. In this bit here, guest services. We actually didn't do the sign, did we? Yeah, we've got to do the signs at some point. Right. Oh, and I did the roof as well. I didn't show you guys, but I did that off the stream. So I did all that. Added all that pattern into the roof. And I fixed this little bit over here, so it's not a lot. If you remember, I dropped that down. So, right. So on the next one, we need to try. I think that conference room is done now. So I think I'm just going to come out here, do some of this. I'm not quite sure what's going in here, but I think this will probably just be. I think this will just be landscape, to be honest. I'm not going to do loads to it. There'll be a bit more path here, and then this will just be a bit of landscaping. But that is going to be it. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Very much appreciate it. And I'll be back. I'll be back next week, I think. Yeah, I might do a Twitch stream tomorrow, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I'll be back next week on YouTube. I'm gonna hopefully have a Tigridoo episode done next week, for next Wednesday. For next Saturday. Hopefully by then we'll have some PZ DLC news as well for potential DLC. Right, take it easy, babes. Take it easy. Catch you on the next one. See ya.